time to work on your tree of life with Donnie the Tree Lady. Learn ways to prune back the vines in your life, identifying tree limbs that are adding dead weight to your branches, and learn ways to grow your entrepreneurship spirit. It's motivating, it's inspiring, it's self-strengthening. It's Donnie Jones Live with Donnie the Tree Lady.
Hey, I'm Donnie Jones, your host of Donnie Jones Live. I'm also known as Donnie the Tree Lady. And today is an amazing day. We have a chance to be out in nature and also meet some new people. One of the things I like about being out in nature is there's always a pleasant surprise. One of the great things about Georgia is that you've got a multitude of different types of trees, which I'm very, very passionate about. But one of the other things I love about Georgia is that sometimes you get pleasantly surprised about what's going on in nature. And right behind me, you'll see right here, one of my favorite trees is a ginkgo tree. And the thing I like about seeing ginkgo trees, especially in the Georgia landscape, is that you really don't get a chance to see a lot of them around. But they're an absolutely beautiful tree. They add great color to your landscape in the fall. But another thing is they're just a pleasant surprise when you look out your door and see something different that you didn't expect. Well, today on our show, we have a gentleman that's a pleasant surprise. His name is Herbert White, and he is actually the owner and CEO of Center Court. And it is a pro shop for tennis. And so we're going to find out a little bit more about him in a few minutes. Come take a look. Hello, welcome back to Donnie Jones Live. I am your host, Donnie the Tree Lady. And earlier we were talking about beautiful things in nature and how it's nice to find a rarity. And today on our show, we have a gentleman that is a rarity. He's actually a wonderful African-American man, businessman, entrepreneur, and basically a leader in a sport that we don't hear a whole lot about in our community. And he's trying to change that. So today on our show, we have the owner and CEO of Center Court Pro Shop, Herbert White. How are you doing, Mr. White?
I'm great. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we're excited to be here with you. So
Thank you.
I got the feeling you would be here already because you're here running the shop, right?
That's correct.
You know, for people out there that don't know exactly what your shop is, obviously you're a pro shop. You're centered around tennis, but let's talk a little bit about what exactly your shop is and how you got started.
Okay, the shop is simply the foundation to a bigger platform.
Okay.
The shop is here for the community.
Yeah.
It's an aspect of the community that allows the community to have a place to come and get quality goods. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but quality service.
Yes.
Get a good understanding of tennis without having to leave their neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And speaking of not leaving their neighborhood, you saw actual need 3 years ago, I guess, or was it longer? And then finally 3 years ago, you decided to implement it.
Exactly. So it came to fruition 3 years ago that, okay, the opportunity is now.
Yeah.
Let's take advantage of it. It wasn't planned. It wasn't outlined. It wasn't on some schedule line. It just, hey, there's a need. Let's fill the gap.
Right.
The tennis center is now growing. It's reopened. It's booming.
Wonderful.
The kids that come here and the youth in the area, they need to have a place to shop.
Right.
And like I said, they get the quality goods, quality brands, and everything they need right here.
And tell people where you're located. I mean, it's important to know where you're at.
We're located at South Fulton Tennis Center. Mm-hmm. It has 24 courts, 4 of them are clay, and the other 20 are hard courts.
Wonderful. Now you grew up actually playing tennis, so it wasn't like you just one day woke up and went, okay, I want to go from being a this to that. You actually grew up in playing tennis, from what you've told me.
Exactly. So at a very young age, you know, like all boys, I wanted to play football.
Okay.
I realized after 8th grade year and got to high school, hey, everyone's bigger than me.
Right,
we got to find something else to do. My dad, my uncles, they were all tennis players.
Okay.
They had been in the game long before I ever thought about playing tennis. Mm-hmm. And so I took after my dad. I got on the court and we started hitting around. We played. I went to college, went to Tuskegee, and actually played on the Tuskegee team for a couple of years. However, I realized in college, engineering, tennis.
Right.
I'm paying for this engineering degree. Tennis is not paying for this degree.
Right. But do you think you could have went all the way with tennis if you would have stuck with it?
Tennis is a great avenue for any youth to get involved in, and you can go as far as the time and effort that you put into it. You have to.
Is it too late for me to be the next Serena Williams?
I wouldn't say it's too late for you to be the next Serena Williams.
You're being nice, okay? I believe all things are possible, but but as you were saying.
But no, I think that you can join the game of tennis at any age.
Okay.
It's not age dependent. You don't have to be 8 years old or 6 years old to start playing tennis. It's a lifelong sport. You can play it throughout your entire life. We have seniors that come out. Some will be out today playing.
Yes.
And they are, 55, 65, 70 years old, and they're still hitting the ball.
Gotcha. Well, I have a heart for the youth. That's my big thing, is I love working with kids and seeing kids do things that are a little bit outside the box, because it has a tendency to open their mind up to other possibilities. What's some ways that people can get in contact with you so that they can get involved? Or what advice would you give to a parent that wants to get involved in tennis but just doesn't know how?
The most important thing is, one, you can start with your city recreational programs and recreational departments. So whatever city you're in, they all have tennis programs.
Yeah.
Look for those programs, great recreational start. Don't spend a lot of money on equipment if your kid is just starting out.
Okay.
Let them learn to enjoy the game, to enjoy the atmosphere, and then as they progress and grow, then you want to get into the more expensive and better technology rackets, tennis shoes, and bags and so forth.
But if they do get involved, they should come see you and get it and buy products from you to help get started, right?
Exactly. So not only do we promote tennis in our community, but we promote tennis outside the community.
Great.
So this platform that we're building is to work with other organizations that are out there. We work with South Atlanta Community Tennis Association, Cohen Tennis Association, Sugar Creek Golf and Tennis Center.
Okay.
We also work with Washington Park.
Okay.
To promote their tennis programs.
So you're not just promoting right here at South Fulton, you're promoting all over the
Right.
Okay.
We're building a platform where all the coaches can come and survive. Because a lot of those tennis centers, they don't have pro shops, but they're in our community.
Now, are you looking to put a pro shop? Because obviously you have your shop here, which, by the way, once again, guys, we're talking to Herbert White with Center Court Pro Shop here in South Fulton. Right. Are you looking to open more centers and other shops or in other areas?
We are actually looking to expand, starting in 2019.
Great.
We are in the active search of looking for a location where we can build not only just we don't want a big box retail store. Okay. Because those are going away with the Amazon.
So more like a boutique shop, a boutique shop.
Well, we want more than just a boutique shop.
Okay.
So we're looking for an expansion where we can bring a high performance facility with the added dimensions of a pro shop on the front end.
Okay.
And we can serve the community better by indoors. We're serving more youth. We're giving them access to high performance training. We're giving them access to a high performance coaching and the high performance teaching, which we don't have on the southwest side of Atlanta. We are looking to branch out in those areas, not just in a pro shop arena.
Gotcha. So you're trying to open the doors to tennis.
We're trying to open the door not only to tennis, but all sports.
All sports. Okay,
all
great.
Sports, yep.
And if people want to get in contact with you, how do they get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with me through our website, which is www.centercourtatl.com, or they can reach us at South Fulton Tennis Center, and the number here is area code 248-767-9503.
Well, that's awesome. And guys, please get in contact with him, because what he's doing is amazing. And speaking of that, I just find it fascinating what your background is. Your background, like you mentioned, is engineering.
Yes.
So it wasn't like you woke up a tennis player and then decided to open a pro shop. Tell us a little bit about how you got your start.
I got my start in engineering. I always had this desire as a kid to understand, to take apart remote control cars. Okay. That was my thing.
Yeah.
Every car I got, I took it apart. I wanted to figure out how it worked, and I never could put it back together.
Oh, wow. See, that would be me. That would be, I don't know how to put it back together. I can take it apart, but not put it back together. Gotcha.
Right. But that led to not only that, but my love for math and science. Yeah. Growing up through school, I excelled in math. I was on the math team in high school.
No, I'm just kidding. That's great.
And so that led me to Tuskegee University, which had a fast track program, a summer program, pre-college program that introduced me to my first elements of engineering. Yeah. And from there, that just grew. After graduation, I went to Detroit. I worked in Ford Motor Company as a product development engineer.
Wow.
And while I was there, I got my engineering management degree from the University of Michigan.
Okay.
Leaving Detroit, I came here as a project manager. Project manager for a automotive vendor, small electronics, and that led to my desire to own my own business.
Okay.
As I managed
What was it about being in that role that led you to wanting to own your own business?
Well, I looked at some of the projects that I were managing. Capital budgets of anywhere from $700,000 down to $250,000. Revenue generating projects that were up to the 600 millions down to 2 million revenue. And I said, I can do this for myself.
Right.
I'm doing this for someone else. I really can do this for myself.
So you were basically managing somebody else's system, and you saw a way that you could do it for yourself and build a career doing it.
Exactly, but the reward in doing it for yourself is now I'm able to give back to the community.
Yeah.
It's about community.
Yeah.
This tennis center, any of our customers know you come to the tennis center, it's all about the community. It's all about the kids. It's all about setting a pathway and giving the youth access to a growth plan, using the knowledge that I have from business and transferring it over to the youth and giving back to the community.
Well, you mentioned that, you know, you want to give back to the community, you wanted to be an entrepreneur, but there's so many different ways that you could have went with that, especially being an entrepreneur or coming from an engineering background. What was it about this tennis shop or about opening Center Court that kind of filled that void for you? Well,
like any entrepreneur, I started off on this path of a dream that I want to own a franchise. I want to be this, or I want to have, you know, some big elaborate dream. I was working with a group downtown in Buckhead, and they advised me that they asked the question, what if that's not what you end up with? And that got me to thinking. I came to South Fulton Tennis Center for practice one evening, and I realized that we were missing a pro shop.
So you feel
we have the space and we feel the need. Exactly.
Well, I was listening to one of the motivational speakers that I like, you know, listening to, and he said, basically, an entrepreneur is somebody that feels a need. They find a need and they feel it, and that's exactly what you've done with your pro shop. And I'm excited about what's going on for 2019. You mentioned that you've got big things on the horizon for 2019. What are some of the things that the people can look forward to?
Well, one of the things that they can look forward to is a YouTube channel that we're now starting. This YouTube channel is not about the pro shop at all. It's about the game of tennis and giving access and what's going on in the community around the game of tennis. The YouTube channel that we are currently shooting and editing is for coaches to come and talk about the game, talk to the community about the game of tennis.
So I can be at home with my tennis racket learning how to play tennis?
You can be at home with your tennis racket learning how to play tennis.
On the court, you know.
You can be at home learning how to get into the game of tennis, where tennis is played in your community. We have different organizations like Axe Dads who will be participating because they want to have an involvement with the youth. And through tennis and through additional sports, they will be able to go to this platform and say, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what we're doing today. We're working with these schools outside. We also have started a foundation called I Play for Love. This foundation is built around health and wellness, access for the kids, financial responsibility. We're showing the kids tutoring, and we have STEM programs that are being developed for, you know, before school programming and after school programs. So
and these are all things that are going to be implemented in 2019?
It would all be implemented in 2019. We're targeting schools now to work with in the area. We want to partner with athletes. It's called I Play for Love.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about I Play for Love when we get back. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back with Mr. White, we're going to get a little bit more into that. But one more time, how do we get in contact with you?
I can be reached at South Fulton Tennis Center at Center Court Pro Shop. The email address is centercourtllc@gmail.com. The website is www.centercourtatl.com. Or you can call us at 248-767-9503.
And we'll be right back. Welcome back. I am your host, Donnie the Tree Lady. Welcome back to Donnie Jones Live. We are here talking with Herbert White about Center Court and what he's doing to make a difference in people's lives and in specifically children's lives. Before we went to break, we were talking about I Play for Love, right?
Yes, that's
Tell us
correct.
a little bit about that again.
I Play for Love is a foundation where we're connecting to the community. It's based off the fundamental of I play for the love of the game.
Yeah.
And every kid, from the backyard player to the five-star athlete, we want to connect with them through the community and providing them access, because we think that's the biggest challenge in life, is having access. A lot of you feel like they can't go forward or achieve their dreams or their goals because they don't have the proper access.
Right. Speaking of access, though, sometimes things are so simple to get access, but we don't know it. What do you see as some of the biggest obstacles that can just be kind of circumvented if people just got out there and tried?
So what I've learned through watching the youth here at South Fulton Tennis Center and within Center Court Pro Shop is that you've come in after a tournament or after a match, and we talk about the game or talk about the match that they just played. Their biggest challenges are that they feel like they are disadvantaged on the court.
Okay.
Within this community and outside, when they're outside of this community, they don't feel like there are enough players, African American players, playing the game of tennis.
Gotcha.
So they come in feeling, okay, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't be here, or I don't have the proper equipment, or my bag doesn't look like their bag. So through the Pro Shop, we try to equip the kids. We have several foundations that help subsidize the cost of equipment and rackets and so forth for the kids, so that they can go out and they can have affordable equipment and also look good as they play.
You know, it's important to look good, though.
Well, we know when we look good, we feel good, exactly. So we want them to feel better about themselves.
Absolutely.
But through the game, the kids also learn about integrity. You're out there by yourself. You're making your own calls on the court. They learn about integrity. They learn about teamwork. They learn about character, their character, and how to get through life challenges. When they're down, how to pull themselves up and stay positively motivated on the court. Because you don't have a coach necessarily all the time when you're a youth in these matches. So you learn to say, okay, was that ball in or out? It was close. I didn't really see it. Do I call it out or do I call it in? And you know, we teach them, hey, if you don't know, it's good.
It's good. If you don't know, or if you don't know, ask your coach. Or, I mean, I guess you can't ask in the middle of
and you can't ask in the middle of a match.
We learned that. Can't ask in the middle of a match.
You can't ask in the middle of a match. But you make the correct call based on the data that you do have.
What do you think it is? I mean, I think you may have already kind of mentioned this, but I'd like to delve in a little bit deeper. The connection between tennis and kids achieving their goals, or the bridge that tennis can make with kids, the connection.
The connection that I've seen most importantly is that the transfer of knowledge from the court to the classroom. Kids learn. I
guess that's where I'm going with that.
Exactly. Kids learn how to manage their time between balancing the tennis schedule and the discipline in tennis and their tennis schedule with their classwork and their homework at home, and also through achieving. So if you're disciplined in your work ethic in preparing for your tennis match, you're going to be disciplined in your work ethic in preparing for your schoolwork or whatever goal it is that you can achieve. They learn from tennis that through hard work that we can go further. You know, tennis is not a sport you're going to pick up on day one and say, okay, I'm going to be good at. You know,
it takes time.
It takes time.
Do you have an example, of, just to bring it home, of a kid that you can think of right now, and you don't have to use their whole name, but a kid, maybe their first name, you can think of where you saw this difference being made?
A kid that I really see the difference being made in is a kid by the name of Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall works within the Pro Shop. I love Bryce to death. Bryce is a great kid. I see Bryce go through the everyday challenges of life. He comes out here, he works hard at tennis, he works hard at home to help his mom out with his brothers and sisters, but he's also an achiever in school. Bryce is one of the most intelligent kids that I've met in the game of tennis. His mind is beyond the game of tennis, but he loves to play tennis. Bryce aspires to be an entrepreneur. We have conversations.
He's got a mentor.
He's got a mentor.
Yeah.
We have conversations about entrepreneurship all the time. Today, Bryce builds computers at home.
Did you say he builds computers?
He builds at home. That's his little side business. That's his joy in life, is to build computers. He's a senior and he's ready, prepared to go to college. I advise him on the steps he needs to take to get into college or where he needs to go.
Do you think he'll go to Tuskegee?
I don't know if he's going to go to Tuskegee. We hope. We got our fingers crossed.
Right.
We hope.
Yeah.
But wherever he goes, as long as he goes,
yeah.
And I'm sure Bryce will achieve because of the game of tennis and the lessons he's learned here, just being around good people here at South Fulton Tennis Center.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, speaking of tennis, which is all we're talking about right now, you've got this store. You've put it together. It's obviously successful in filling a need in the community. How do you know how to do all of this? Like you said, you came from engineering, you had a little bit of background in tennis, but what is it like? How do you go about putting your ideas together and making them come to fruition?
Well, I think it's the transferable skills.
Okay.
So with the project management background and the business side of my degree, it's a simple transition. Understanding the community or the demographic of the customers.
Okay.
Understanding what the need is. Being a small business owner, you have to focus on, you can't carry a ton of inventory and be successful.
Right.
Especially in a pro shop or a specialty shop atmosphere. So we try to balance those aspects of it. We bring them together. I talk to the kids, especially because they're up to date on what their favorite player is playing with and where they need to go.
And you try to make sure you stock
I try to make sure I stock what is being asked for. Now, in the background, what happens is you have vendor reps that come out that serve the community. So I'm a dealer with all the vendors of the game of tennis. Okay. They come in, they present the latest product and what's selling, what's moving, what's not. I buy from those vendors and I stock it here in store.
But you also have to make the decision about, even though it may be selling in one area, is it going to sell down here?
That's correct.
Okay.
And that's one of the challenges in understanding the community. You know, you have to be involved and in tune to what the community needs.
Absolutely.
Because certain communities, certain neighborhoods, people play with rackets for 4 or 5 years.
Really? I didn't realize you could play with a racket that long.
You can't. Once you have a good racket, you have a good racket.
Okay.
At the end of the day.
Okay.
And rackets will come out with new models every 2 years.
Okay.
So in dealing
almost
with,
like a car.
Almost like a car. They want you to buy a new one.
Gotcha.
And so it's a balancing equation based on the business need.
Right.
You don't buy if you don't need.
Right.
So if it's not selling or if it's not moving, we're not going to stock stuff.
So what's some other advice, once again, being an entrepreneur, what's some other advice that you would give another entrepreneur that might not be in your industry, but these are some life lessons that you've learned building this business?
Life lessons, I would say, one, understand your market.
Okay.
Definitely understand your location.
Yes.
And make sure you're able to feel the need. If you build it, they will come.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of building it, I know we've mentioned this before, but we want people to get in contact with you. Once again, how do people get in contact with you?
You can reach me at South Fulton Tennis Center. My email address is centercourtllc@gmail.com.
We got it now. Go ahead. Say that one more time.
My email address is centercourtllc@gmail.com.
Wonderful. Now, do you have kids or do they play tennis?
I don't have kids. My wife plays tennis, or she's trying to get in the game. She's going to be mad for me saying that.
Well, I know she can come to you for help, right?
I would prefer her to go get lessons from somewhere else.
Oh my goodness. My husband did that to me with skiing. He knows how to ski really well, but we got on the ski slopes and he was like, no, you need to take lessons from this guy. I'm like, why would I pay somebody and I got you right here? Right. So I'm gonna tell you, you should be teaching your wife. Does she also help you in the business here?
My wife is a physician.
Oh, wonderful.
Her role in the business is totally off hands.
Okay.
She's focused on her career and where it's going. She allows me to do this, to grow the game and to grow the community.
That's beautiful.
She works in the capacity of being on the health and wellness side of my of my foundation.
Yeah.
She helps me there. That's her biggest impact. She loves to give. She loves helping the elderly. She's actually a psychiatrist.
Oh, wow.
And so she's a geriatric psychiatrist, so she loves helping the elderly, but she also loves helping the kids.
Well, we've talked a lot about the kids, but kind of a segue with your wife helping the elderly. What advice would you give to seniors that want to get involved in the game?
Oh, it's never, I would tell
Plus, they can buy some stuff from you.
That's correct. It's never too late to get into the game. It's a lifetime sport that you can play. As I mentioned earlier, we have senior classes, senior lessons. We have a 65 and older team that plays out of here. We have a 55 and older team that plays out of here.
Yeah.
Tournaments also host events where they can go play. But most importantly, just get out and be active. You know, it's not about the big paycheck at the end of the day.
Right.
It's more about being active and having that healthy lifestyle.
Now, what do you need right now in order to grow Center Court? Because you are talking about going into other areas, and this is a platform where we want to see you grow. So from the community, what can we do to support Center Court?
What we're looking for is just community support in helping raise the awareness and the benefits of the game of tennis. If we could have that support within the store, we also like for you to come in and purchase, but more so is to get your kids active, get them into the game of tennis. It's an alternative sport from the traditional sports of football, basketball. You can also play those things.
But do you see that there is pushback a little bit against that because it is non-traditional?
I think
for our community,
for our community, I think that it's just more of, I have to do a better job of educating our community on why tennis is important. That's my job. That's my responsibility, is to let the community know and to bring awareness to them that in your backyard you have a 24-court facility, one of the best in the Atlanta area.
Absolutely.
And you also have the only pro shop on this side of town.
That's right.
That's selling every brand of tennis that you need.
I know we say that it's here in South Fulton, but give them the address.
The address to the pro shop and the tennis center is 5645 Mason Road, and that's the city of South Fulton, Georgia.
Wonderful. Well, I just want to say thank you for allowing us into your home, so to speak, into your store. And you guys, let's support this gentleman. He's a wonderful man. He's doing great things in the community. And once again, we are here talking with Herbert White with Center Court Pro Shop. And just thank you so much for what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.